Hi, I'm C.C. Péan, and this is Reclaiming Your Health. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Reclaiming Your Health. I am your host, C.C. Péan, and I am once again excited to be here with you all tonight. Thank you for those who have been tuning in week after week. Can you believe we're almost at 2 years? Can you believe that? Every Tuesday night for almost 2 years, you all have been with me, and I'm so grateful for your support. And I hope that you've learned about amazing recipes as you transition into your plant-based life, or as you try to add a little bit more plant-based eating into your life. We've got them all here. And as a bonus, I've got some information for you tonight that I'm sure you're going to be excited about. Did you know that the Reclamation Project has an app? They do. It's totally free. It's available on Google Play. And what's great about that is that instead of having to go to YouTube or having to replay the process by which I'm creating these recipes, you can have it at your fingertips. You can take it with you wherever you go. So check out the Reclamation Project's app on Google Play. So tonight we're going to do a kind of a Mediterranean-inspired dish. Let me tell you, I love Mediterranean food. If you follow the Blue Zone Project, Dan Buettner, he always talks about Mediterranean food and the Mediterranean diet and how it is so beneficial and it's so heart healthy, and the ingredients that are used are just, they're good for us and they're tasty as an added benefit. It can be great for you, but if it doesn't taste good, you're less likely to eat it. So tonight we're going to do a golden quinoa warm salad along with some grilled eggplant. Now, one of the most difficult things to do is grill vegetables. That's because it's hard to season them. You don't want to use a lot of oil and everything. You can the method that I'm going to use tonight is very simple. You don't have to use a lot of things to bring out great flavor. When you grill things, when you roast things, you do that because it's allowing the natural flavor to come through. And what I was saying earlier is when people tend to grill vegetables and they do it incorrectly, they end up using a whole bunch of salt or a whole bunch of oil and things like that. So tonight, I'm going to show you how to make the perfect grilled eggplant, or you could make the perfect grilled zucchini or bell pepper using the same method. But for this, what we're going to do tonight, I've already got my indoor grill panini going. You can also obviously do this on your stove, on a cast iron grill or something like that, or outside. But we're going to make it really simple tonight. So what I've got here is I've got an eggplant, and listen, we want our eggplant to be firm, okay? So when you tap it, you hear that? That's what you want it to sound like. We don't want it to be soft. I've already rinsed it off. What I've got here is I have got some salted water, kind of like a brine. It's a salted water. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut thin steaks of the zucchini. You don't want them more than like a ½ an inch thick, okay? I'm probably going to have to cut these in half just because my vessel that has my brining water is not big enough to manage them full size. But keep that in mind. So when you get ready to do yours, you might need to use a long, glass, like a casserole dish or something like that. So I've cut those, and now I'm going to put them in my salted water. This water should kind of taste like the sea. I'm going to put those in there, and I'm going to put something weighted on it to keep it submerged, okay? Now, optimally, you would do that for about 30 minutes. So while that is brining, we're gonna move forward with our golden quinoa salad. Now, before I came on tonight, I did one thing, and that was prepare my quinoa. Why do I call this golden, and what is so great about it? Is the turmeric that I've added to my vegetable broth, and then the quinoa is cooked in that. What's the big deal about turmeric? Turmeric is antioxidant. There is something called curcumin in there that is cancer fighting. So it is a great nutrient to include. People do things like golden milks. So they'll take some hot soy milk or some hot oat milk or any kind of plant milk. You drop about a half of a teaspoon of turmeric in there, just a pinch of black pepper. And the black pepper is key because the black pepper increases the absorption of curcumin like 2,000%. So you want to eat smarter. So when you use turmeric, you always have to use a pinch of black pepper. So I did some vegetable broth. I used about a teaspoon of curcumin. I put a pinch of black pepper in there and I let it cook. And this is the lovely result. So this is what gives us our golden quinoa. So it's delicious, it looks great, and it's good for you. Okay, so that's gonna go in there. We also have some fresh parsley. You can't fix Mediterranean food without parsley. And added to that, we're also going to do some mint. This is going to be bursting with flavor. One of the things I forgot to mention, I believe, in the menu was cucumber, okay? So I've got some small cucumbers. They call these like Persian cucumbers. I've got some scallion here. We've got some grape tomatoes. And we've got some lemon. We're going to put lemon juice and lemon rind in there. That's also a key ingredient to delicious Mediterranean fare. And then we have my favorite Violife feta. I tell you, this feta is better than the real thing. If you're somebody who's trying to get over cheese and you have a thing for feta, I'm telling you, this is it. Violife feta. You can get it at Kroger's. You can get it at Publix. It's a great product. And then we have some olive oil because we are going to drizzle our salad with some of the olive oil. So let's get started. So I have some scallion. I'm going to just drop that in my dish. This is about a quarter cup of scallion. We're going to cut up 2 of these cucumbers. I'm just going to cut them in half and fourths. And just remember, we want to try to do it evenly. We do it evenly so that when we're eating it or when we're cooking, you know, you'll get a bite of everything at the same time. And when you're cooking things, it will cook evenly. So there's 1 cucumber. And of course, you can do this with regular cucumbers as well. But if you do, be sure to take the seeds out because it'll get really watery. One of the benefits of using this type of cucumber is that you don't have to worry about the wateriness of the seeds. All right, so we've got 1 done. And now this is our second one. Okay. That's going in our dish. This is such a super simple and yummy recipe. And so I have a bunch, I just grabbed a bunch of parsley off the stems. I like the curly parsley because it has a little more heft to it and it really stands out in the dish. If you use a flat leaf parsley, it's not bad, but it doesn't have the same look and it's not going to be as, it's not going to taste, it's not going to be as substantial in your mouth or in your bowl. So we like to have, you know, we want to feel like we're eating something. So there goes our parsley. And I tell you, this smells so incredibly good already. You know, the funny thing about parsley is growing up, I'm sure like many of you, parsley was just a garnish. It was honestly something that I really did not eat. If I did, it was like accidental and I spit it out as soon as it got in my mouth. But I've really learned to appreciate parsley. And I think I appreciate it because I've had it in dishes. Okay? And so that's one of the things I encourage people to do. If you're somebody who says, oh, I hate parsley, and the last time you had it, you were like 10 or 12 years old, try it again. You never know. Your tastes change as you get older. Our tastes become a little more sophisticated. We're eating different things. And so sometimes you'll add something back into your diet and your repertoire that you would not have. So I've got some fresh mint leaves here. And I'm just going to thinly slice these. Then I'm going to go over it again because we really want this distributed through our quinoa. So there's that. This is smelling and looking amazing already. So now let's go to our tomatoes. And of course you could use, larger tomatoes. But again, if you do, I would suggest that you take out the seeds because it'll get really runny and we don't want that. We want this to basically be like a herbed quinoa, and that's part of the reason why when I cooked the quinoa, I didn't use as much water as you usually would. So usually it's like 2 to 1. Well, when I use quinoa for things like salads, I want it to be more grainy than mushy. So I take it down, instead of 2 cups of water, I'll use 1 3/4 cups of water. So 1 cup to 1 3/4. If you want to make probably an easier way of cutting it, yeah. If you want to make your quinoa not as, mushy. Now, I love a mushy quinoa, but it doesn't work in this recipe. And if you notice, I'm using grape tomatoes that have different colors because I want this to be, we're going to eat the rainbow. So we've got yellow tomatoes, we've got green tomatoes, we've got red tomatoes in here. And we're just dropping them in here. You want your tomatoes to be a little firm as well. Go. Meanwhile, our eggplant is brining. I'm going to cut up a few more of these tomatoes. This is such a great dish. We're doing it with eggplant. Of course, you could also do it with a beautiful piece of grilled tofu. If you're somebody who hasn't absolutely made the transition, there's all kinds of meat protein that you could use. I would suggest something like fish. When we talk about the blue zone, that is one of the few things that finds its way in there. Of course, we would suggest you avoid that altogether. But if you're not quite there and you want to up your vegetable and your grain intake, but still do a little thing on the side, you can do that. All right, I'm gonna do 2 more nice firm tomatoes. This one is smaller, so I'm just gonna do half. Okay, clean this up a little bit. Now we're going to use some zest. I love adding zest. It just adds a different flavor, and I love it. So we're not going to use too much. I would say the total is going to be about maybe a quarter teaspoon. There we go with that. Okay. And now I'm going to add my quinoa. Now I'm going to add this. This was 1 cup, if you can believe it. 1 cup that I cooked. And I'm gonna mix this up. We still got a few things to put in here, but I'll get started on mixing this. Ooh, this looks and smells amazing. I'm gonna add a little more quinoa to this. Okay, so I'm gonna stop now. I told you optimally we would brine this for about 30 minutes. I put something weighted to make sure it stayed down. And what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take it out, pat it dry. Doesn't take much for it to pat dry. I think I've probably got space for about 4 of these on there. Actually, let me move this out the way so you can see what I'm doing. So I cut my eggplant about 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch slices. I made a brine that tastes like the sea. Okay, so I put some salted water and I immerse this in there and I put something on it to keep it down in there. Optimally, you would do this for about 30 minutes, but because time is of the essence, we're not doing that tonight. So I have got my grill going. This is my indoor grill. It's a Cuisinart grill. It's actually one of the gifts from my wedding 10 years ago. And it's great because it is non-stick. And if you're typically using a grill, you know, you have to use oil and stuff like that. And so this is a way of keeping things a little healthier because we are using a non-stick grill. I'm going to use a non-stick spray. So I'm just going to sprinkle a little salt on this on both sides. If you had some herbs, like an herb paste or something, that's when you could use it. I'm going to use a little spray on this grill. And we're going to place these bad boys in there. Let's see. I think I can fit 4 of them here. And we're going to leave that alone for a good 5 minutes. So if you were doing this on a traditional grill, you would do 5 minutes on each side. But because we have this grill that is going to do both sides at the same time, we're going to do it for a total of 5 minutes. Okay, let me wipe this off again. So the next thing that we're going to put in our lovely salad is my favorite. But before we even get there, just take a look at this. When we talk about eating the rainbow, this is what we're talking about. Look at how lovely that is. I really like it. I like the quinoa having a different color to it because, to be honest with you, sometimes the plain quinoa is kind of bland looking. And then I feel like the tricolor quinoa sometimes is too fussy. It's like too much going on, and I think this is beautiful. And you know me, I want my food to not only taste good, but I want it to look good. So we've got that going. Now I'm going to crumble some of this, if I can get it open. Crumble some of this feta. Now, one of the things I have done to help make the crumbling a little easier is freezing it. Because this is super creamy. I'm telling you guys, this is an amazing product. So if it's too warm, sometimes it can be problematic. So I'm going to cut about half of this, and let's see if I can crumble it tonight. Okay, so it's crumbling. I like to crumble it as opposed to cutting squares because I just think it looks fake. It just doesn't look as authentic and real. It just kind of looks like you have these globules of, feta. The real feta crumbles, so this needs to crumble too. It depends on how big you want the pieces. You can break them up a little more. I have some big pieces and some small pieces in there. Let me rinse my hand. Okay, and now with that, we're going to do half of a lemon, and I'm going to squeeze that juice right in there. It's a good amount of juice. That's the liquid we want. And we're going to mix this all together. This looks and smells amazing. Now we used a little low sodium vegetable broth to get this started. So there is a little bit of saltiness in there. But at this point, this is when we're going to taste it and see if we need to add any more salt. We've got our layers of flavor going. So you remember what I say about that? When you've got all these layers of flavor, there's less of a need to use a lot of salt. That is grilling nicely. Yeah. Okay, so let me taste. Nice and fresh and effervescent, but they could use a few twists of salt. Now you may find that you don't need any salt, and that's fine. Everybody has their threshold, but that's why I also say add salt at the end, not at the beginning, because once that salt's in there, you can't undo it. So you've added a little salt. We're going to just do a drizzle of olive oil. You don't have to do this either, but this definitely is part of what makes it a heart-healthy dish. So we've got our fresh lemon juice, we've got our lemon rind, our lemon zest, our golden quinoa that has turmeric, black pepper. We've got fresh mint, fresh parsley, beautiful tomatoes. We've got scallions in here. Let's see how this tastes. I'm finding excuses to keep tasting my food. That's delicious. Absolutely delicious. Let's move things to the side. Let me check on this eggplant and see how it's going. Wipe down a little bit. You know, some of you are on here week after week and you send me little messages and I so appreciate it. And oftentimes I ask, is there something that you would like to learn how to make or see demoed? Please reach out and let us know. We really want to make our programming relevant to you all. So, if there's something you want to see, let us know. All right, now let me check on this eggplant again. It is grilling nicely. Let's see. What am I going to use? Let's see what's going on here. Oh yeah, this is looking great. This is looking great. I don't know if you all can see. Can you see this? You see those beautiful, let's see, let me move this out of the way. You see those beautiful grill marks on there? And this is going to be thoroughly cooked. One of the worst experiences is to eat into vegetables that are halfway cooked. Oftentimes what I do when I'm doing things like if I'm going to grill a carrot or something like that, what I will do is I will blanch it. Eggplant's not something that you can blanch, but some of your heartier vegetables like your bell peppers, That's a perfect one to blanch. If you're doing asparagus, that's a perfect one to blanch as well. I would like to see parsnips. Okay. Parsnips are delicious. They're so good for you. One of the things I do with parsnips is I mix them with like my potatoes. It kind of fortifies your potatoes. If you're doing like a mashed potato, that's a perfect way of incorporating them into your diet. But yeah, I'll take that challenge on. Parsnips. That's a first request. Sunchokes. I love all of those like root vegetables. They're so good for you. And I think we are about done and ready to plate. And you all, I don't have any magic skills, any magic abilities. You can do everything that you see me doing. You can do it yourself. These are easy recipes. You just need to prepare, but they're easy recipes. So let's get ready to plate. I've got my bowl here, one of my favorite bowls. And I'm just going to take some of this salad and put it right at this. This is so beautiful. I mean, it is absolutely beautiful. Look at this again. Look at this with me. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Absolutely beautiful. Okay. And we've got our eggplant here that is grilled to perfection. I'm just going to lay 2 pieces right here. If you want to, you could also, again, you could do a drizzle of heart-healthy olive oil on here if you want to. You do some type of simple vinaigrette, something like that. Could go on here. This is our dish for this evening. You see it? So we've got our golden quinoa, which is quinoa that we used low sodium vegetable broth. We used some turmeric for the curcumin and a pinch of black pepper because we want to activate the curcumin so that we get all of the nutritional benefits that come along with it. So we did that. Then we chopped up some cucumber, some grape tomatoes. We chopped up some parsley, some fresh mint, some scallions, some beautiful Violife feta, and then we dropped 2 perfectly grilled eggplant slices on there. Remember, with the eggplant, you want to cut it about a 1/2 inch to a 3/4 inch thick. Make a brine that is salty like the sea. Put that in there for about 30 minutes. Make sure you have something on top to keep it submerged. After 30 minutes, you want to take it off that water, pat it dry, sprinkle it with a little salt, and put it on your hot grill. I used an indoor grill, so I was able to use nonstick spray, and I didn't have to use a whole bunch of stuff on it. I didn't have to use olive oil. Typically, you would brush your veggies with olive oil. So we're reducing our fat a little bit by not doing that. And I put it on my grill. I sprayed it with a little bit of olive oil spray, and they came out perfectly. So this is our dish, golden quinoa. I would say this is like a warm salad, a warm golden quinoa salad and grilled eggplant. I'm going to be looking for parsnip ideas. We'll see what happens next week. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye-bye. Oh, remember, the Reclamation Project app is on Google Play, absolutely free. And oh, there it is, Google Play, the App Store, Amazon Fire TV, and Apple TV. We have an app now, so these recipes are even more accessible. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you all next week. Bye-bye.